Thanks for checking out this horror film review from the Skeleton Crew Horror Podcast. You can find our full archive of every unedited show at horrorphilia.com. Also subscribe to the Skeleton Crew on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy the review.
I see you marrying a corpse, living in a grave.
The vampire can assume very many different forms at will. Sometimes it appears as a bat, and sometimes as a small cloud of swirling vapor. In this way, it can move unseen among its enemies.
Son of Dracula, searing the screen with new terror in this weird tale of the living dead who rise from the grave at night to prey on unsuspecting victims. With Louise Albritton, Robert Page, Evelyn Ankers, Frank Craven, J. Edward Bromberg, and Lon Chaney as the new Count Dracula, you'll shudder at the screen's most fascinating woman vampire, luring men with cold beauty and the promise of immortality.
Count Alucard is immortal. Through him, I attained immortality. Through me, you will do the same.
Alright, it's time for The Son of Dracula, 1943. This is starring Lon Chaney Jr. as Count Alucard, Robert Page as Frank Stanley, Louise Albritton as Catherine Caldwell, Evelyn Ankers, as we all know, and anybody who's just been listening to us still knows, as Claire.
Not in it enough. I love her, and she was not in that movie enough.
You're right. Frank Craven is Dr. Harry Brewster, and J. Edward Bromberg as Professor Laszlo. Dan, you never saw it ever. What'd you think of this?
It was pretty good, man. It was entertaining enough, but more than anything, it seemed just like a romance story. And with some horror elements to it, you know what I mean? Because it just, and it was solid. Because my grandmother used to actually watch all those old movies back in the day, and I used to sit there and watch them with her. So that, that old school way of talking, kid.
Frank Stanley did that.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of that I was used to, and I still thought it was funny and stuff. But I thought it was done well. It was a well done movie. But it wasn't like, it didn't hit you over the head with the horror aspect of it,
Right. It's funny you brought up grandmother again. Like, this is like the grandmother show, because my grandmother in that interview, she said, is that the one we watched with Abbott and Costello meeting a monster or something? And
yeah,
the only one I remember watching with her is Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, and she was going through hard times during those years, and she was living with us.
Uh-huh.
My parents, oddly enough, put her in my room to sleep, and I think they bought bunk beds just for that, because I was wondering, why do I have bunk beds? I'm basically a single kid, and my sister, not going to sleep in this room. So I think they did it to have her there. So she was in the bottom bunk, and I was in the top when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember being up there watching the intro to Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, and I peeked down to see if she was really watching, and she was. I was like, that's cool, man. I was like, wow. I was like, cool, she's into it.
Grandma, you're awesome.
Yeah. Rule, Grandma.
Yeah. But it would make sense, though, that we're talking about grandmothers, because we are talking about old movies, so.
Yeah.
No, but
this was like Scream to them.
Yeah, no, exactly, dude. Dude, my grandmother knows all that shit. I'm like, hell yeah, that's fucking tight.
Yeah. Jamie, I'm interested in what you think, because you are a huge fan of Lon Chaney Jr. A lot of people hate his entire performance here. They just think it doesn't work. He doesn't fit. Blah blah blah. But he gets he doesn't get too much positive feedback from what I in generally. So I'm interested in what you think of him as Count Dracula, or if you want to say, we'll say Count Alucard.
Alucard.
It's not my favorite role of his, but I really like him. I like him in anything. The only thing that kind of bothered me here was that he looked like a cross between like Clark Gable and I can't remember. I had it the other day, but anyway, he reminded me of Clark Gable, especially with that pedo mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just every time he'd be on screen, I'm staring at that mustache, going, "What are you doing?"
dude.
Really, I like it. I thought it fit really well with this character.
I really like this movie, so it doesn't bother me. But like I said, it's not my favorite role of his. I don't feel that it has as much emotion as, say, the Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel for him as much as I did in the Wolfman.
No.
Yet, as we get on, though, I do kind of feel for him because he was totally used.
He was duped.
And
I've been bamboozled.
Kind of sad, but at first appearance, I'm just stuck on the mustache, going, "What is that?" He'd look like he could be tying somebody to a train track.
Yeah, he's like the original Tom Atkins of horror. Good. All right, here's the plot. Count Alucard finds his way from Budapest to the swamps of the Deep South after meeting Catherine Caldwell of the moneyed Caldwell clan that runs a plantation called Dark Oaks.
Oh, and if you didn't notice, there was so much fucking racism in this movie right off the bat, dude. Not even 2 minutes in.
Dude, that's how it was in the 40s, though.
Racism?
They had the every black character in this was a caricature, basically, and they had that classic, like, buckwheat used to do it all the time. It's that when he first opens the door, and when the butler opens the door and Count Alucard's standing there, he has that look on his face where he gets all wide-eyed and he's like, "Oh!" It just makes me...
Mr. Caldwell is sleeping all right now. Announce me.
Now, you know who I did like the best, though? Was the big, fat black one, Sarah.
Oh, Sarah.
She was the one who gave it back to him, dude. She was like, what did she say? She said something like, well, why didn't you put him in the spare bedroom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's like, and no wonder he's not going to stay for breakfast.
No wonder he's not staying. She's like, you done did it now. Like, oh, dude, there was so much over-the-top racism, but you're right, that was a reflection of the times.
That's what it was, yeah, they weren't thinking that way.
God damn, dude, you gotta just shake your head to that, like, wow, dude, really?
They were always servants, man, always black servants.
Yes, sir, massa. Like, come on, dude.
Well, look at here, I know that Count Alucard showed up late.
And remember, he's like, oh, yeah, well, go and get a couple of your buddies to go help you. Oh, yes, that'd be great. Thank you. Oh, I don't have to do it all by myself. Thank you, Master.
That's a jolly good idea, Mr. Caldwell. Like, damn, man.
What the flying fuck, racism?
Like, we think it's bad when black people have to say horrible lines like, come on, man, you tell the only black guy to pump the gas for you, like in the Friday the 13th remake, you think that's bad. Watch a 1940s horror movie, man.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Right?
Step and fetch it. Uncle Remus, hey, Uncle Remus, that cigar, he probably fell asleep with it while he was smoking, and that's what started the fire. That's very good.
Yeah,
yes.
He was the first fire marshal ever.
Yeah.
That was...
Yeah, he figured it out.
Figured that one out. And I was like, oh, look at that. They're giving him intelligent thought, which was a big deal for,
Yeah.
It was a very tiny moment, but usually they're just, like... Yeah. Walking around going, oh, thank you.
And the white guy actually gave him props for it, too. He's like, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's racism as opposed to just a sign of the time.
Well, both.
Yeah, it's both. It is rare. It's just racism. So Catherine Caldwell, she met at Count Alucard when she was in Budapest. She's obsessed with the occult matters. Who better to guide her through the supernatural world than Count Alucard, whose name... no one bothers to spell backwards. Idiot. The guy does that in the goddamn opening scene.
Yeah, when he's looking at it on the shipping crate from when he arrived. He's like, huh, A-U... I mean, A-L, well,
D-R-A. Yeah. So that's stupid. No one that is... Oh, duh. Sorry. I should have not said that till I kept reading another sentence. No one that is except the wily Dr. Brewster, an old family friend. He'll join Professor Laszlo, a specialist in the occult, in fighting this Alucard and the woman he's influenced. Or has Catherine influenced him? Meanwhile, Catherine's fiancé, Frank Stanley, will find his courage and his sanity sorely tested when he accidentally shoots Catherine to death, yet finds that she goes on living. Okay. Now, that was gross.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, right off the bat, amazing atmosphere. The swamp scene where Catherine Caldwell goes to find Queen Zimba.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the queen, the old swamp cat with a shack full of dried lizards and dead chickens.
Oh, yeah.
How would you compare Queen Zimba to Maliva?
I prefer this Hungarian gypsy just because of her reaction to that bat. Oh my god, dude. I rewound that shit literally like 2 or 3 times, dude. I was like, that was fucking ridiculous, dude. Are you kidding me? Just her reaction and then the bat itself. Come on, dude. That shit's fucking out of this world. Are you kidding me?
Dude, it was so funny. But here's what I like. If she's truly a gypsy and she has power, just like Maliva established when she said, I expected you sooner in Wolfman, and this is all real, why was she saying, Alucard is not his name? Like, don't you think Catherine knows that? Like, shouldn't you know that she knows that if you really know what's up?
You would think, yeah.
You do not know why you came here tonight. It was because I wished you here.
Well, why? Isn't Count Alucard one?
I wished you here to warn you. The angel of death hovers over a great house. I see it in ruins. Weeds, vines growing over it. Bats flying in and out the broken windows.
But I want to know of Count Alucard. Is he coming? Do you hear me? Do you hear me, Queen Zimba?
Alucard is not his name. You must stop him before it is too late. Stop him before death comes to Dark Oaks.
Tell me if he is coming tonight.
I see you marrying a corpse, living in a grave. I see...
Well, exposition for the audience,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when she says that, we don't know that she knows what's up, do we? Or do we?
Mm-mm. Yeah, but she should know, but we don't know what's up.
Yeah, so I guess it was for our benefit, but...
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess so.
But you're right, though. That's bullshit. But, yeah, you have to tell us assholes, so...
Yeah. Alucard scares her to death. Kay just runs away. And so Count Alucard does not arrive on the train like he's supposed to. He just shows up at this party, and this movie... This is the first man-into-bat transformation ever seen on camera. So, what did you guys think of, the effects, switching over from a man to a bat or whatever?
I thought it was, honestly, I have several notes on the effects in this movie in general, because I was pretty impressed with the way that they worked the steam, or not steam, the smoke,
Mm-hmm.
He would transform into smoke and then back, and it was pretty clever. And then there's a scene at the end in the swamp where the hand turns from human hand into skeletal hand.
Yeah,
it's pretty smooth. I think they put a lot of effort into it, and it showed. I was impressed.
Yeah, they put a lot. It's a well done movie, and that's what's cool about the movies from back then. Even though they're like we talked about some ridiculous plots and whatever, they treated these things like normal movies, and that's what made them kind of good, I think, for the most part. So here's the crazy part. So Alucard, turns from a bat to a man. He walks. Well, I think he flies upstairs or something, and then he turns into a man. He goes into the bedroom of Kay's father, and murders him.
There was one scene where they were examining the body, which you guys were talking about with those bite marks. And what did he say? He said something like, "Those don't look like." What was it? Yeah, he goes, "Those don't look like burn marks," and he said it kind of subtly. Up until that point in these movies, there hadn't been too much subtlety, you know what I mean, in these movies. So I thought that was a nice little touch, almost kind of somewhat saying, "Hey, audience, you guys kind of know what we're talking about by this point in the game."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really, going back, looking at the ones I saw anyways, which everybody knows which ones we've been watching, that was one of the first kind of hints of subtlety that I've seen. So I just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah.
Because I'm a perceptive motherfucker like that.
I like when he said he looks like he was literally frightened to death.
Yeah.
They should have showed his face, though. Like, what? Yeah, they should have showed that. That would have been cool.
I was hoping that they would, and
Right.
I was kind of disappointed that they didn't.
Yeah, the censors didn't want a surprised face on a guy. Can you imagine?
That would be too much.
Yeah. I don't know. Just imply that he was afraid. You're watching this movie for the first time, you got to be thinking to yourself, and yes, we're spoiling an 80-year-old movie. You got to be thinking to yourself, why isn't Kay upset that Alucard couldn't resist? Like, you had to kill my dad, dude? Like, couldn't you kill somebody else when you got here? If you needed blood? Like, really, dude? My dad?
Honestly.
Well, because that really just sort of fits into her plan, doesn't it? I mean, what she wants is the estate. So it's like, I almost thought, at first I didn't realize, because you're not supposed to know that. But then at the end I'm like, maybe, did she tell him to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was...
Yeah, but you didn't think that. You couldn't have thought that.
No, at all. You don't. But then it's kind of... She doesn't ever seem really upset. She comes up there and the two of them, the two sisters, are standing there looking at his dead body, and then she's just kind of like, oh... I'm like, dude, your dad is dead.
Well, what she does is, she stands there, and then they say, look at those 2 marks on his neck. She leans over and looks, and like she knows what's up. Then she just kind of like looks and says, I'm sorry, Kay. Like, yeah, it's clear that something's up. And it's really crazy writing. I don't know, man. For 1940, I think it's pretty outrageous. I mean, things got weird in the 70s with writing.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't mean like a romance, by the way, either. It's like a crime drama.
Yeah.
Well, it's very noirish and
yeah, right. Good.
And
yeah.
And that it comes across with the language, with the use of lighting and shadow that they use. And I got a big... What was it? Was it supposed to be present day? I never could quite figure out if it was supposed to be present day or if it was supposed to take place earlier than that. Because according to their wardrobe, it was present day. But then back then, that didn't always mean anything. Their period films weren't necessarily periody.
Right. Right.
They had the servants, they had the cars, they had,
right.
Yeah, they did have cars, that's right. But I couldn't, because their servants were basically, they could have been slaves, for all you know, because they didn't seem very... No,
I don't think they were slaves. I didn't see that. I mean...
I didn't necessarily see that. I'm just saying it, I would have believed it if you'd told me that.
Right.
But, it was very 40s. It was, even though it was early in the 40s, this film just reeked of the 40s, which sort of sets it apart from some of the earlier ones, which screamed the 30s.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell the progression among the Universal films. It seems to it seemed different in a lot of ways from the ones preceding it, and it sort of set itself apart. For one, I think the fact that it had the whole twist, and there was this, basically a mystery. And this really basically evil woman who was like this femme fatale. And that's not something you'd seen before, because typically the woman was, when there were women, they were either victims or just on the sideline.
Right.
But this woman was...
like the love interest.
Yeah, but this one, she was basically the villain.
Yeah, and see, it's weird that you chose to describe her as evil. She's doing everything she's doing out of love. I mean, should we just give it away so that when we talk, people...
Yeah, I guess not evil, but I mean, a lot of the things that I think she did or that were caused by what she was doing were, bordering on evil. I mean, she was very diabolical. I'll put it that way.
All right, well, we'll tell everyone, just the people who haven't seen this, so they know what we're sort of getting at. Yeah, because we could talk about other things afterwards. So, basically what's happening in this movie is this girl, Kay, is really into the occult. She's morbid. She met Count Alucard, who's really Count Dracula. That's his name spelled backwards, Alucard. And
What?
Can you believe that?
Mind blown.
So, she meets him, and she says, well, this guy could live forever. I totally believe in it. I believe in vampires, blah, blah. I want to become a vampire because I would like to live forever. And shit, I love Frank Stanley. We're going to get married pretty soon or whatever. So, me and him could live forever together. Like, why should I just live forever and die? He'll die. And then she also wants the estate of her father's, because they're rich people. They own a plantation. But when you're a vampire, and they describe this in the movie, you no longer have a need for material things. I don't know. I don't know what vampires, why they don't need material things, really, but...
They probably just care so much about blood. They're like junkies. They don't care about anything else,
Yeah, it turns the volume down and everything else in life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All they really need is a place to pretty much hide their coffins, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And some dirt.
And dirt, yeah. So they just need a house. Her idea is, well, let me kill my father. Alucard could do it. She gets the house. She dumps Frank Stanley publicly. Hooks up with Alucard so he will do this deal and make her a vampire.
It's basically like an early green card scam.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Somebody just had a green card scam. The guy who owns Horror-Bid. Oh, by the way, ladies, he's looking for love.
He's single. Oh, God. Oh, we're already getting emails. The inbox is fucking full.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, they read the part where he's the larger, the 5th biggest horror site.
Yes, he's a
mogul.
He's a movie mogul. And by the way, he wants body shots, girls.
Yeah, 18 and up.
18 to 30. Only if you're 18 to 30.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
If you're 31, he's 40, ladies and gentlemen. If you think he's going to date a gross 31-year-old, you're out of your mind.
Do you know how many hits he gets a day? Come on. Stop dreaming. So Kay gets the father killed, gets the will, gets the house, gives away the money. So now her and Alucard are hanging out, making like they're married. He bites her, begins turning into a vampire. I think she pretty much is one. And then her idea is to now bite Frank Stanley, the guy she's really in love with.
Right.
And then asks Frank to kill Count Alucard just to get rid of him. Because he thinks he's there to stay. So she's like, I just used him to become a vampire, and I'm going to make you one, and we're going to live forever, bro. So kill this guy, and we're good.
See, diabolical.
Yeah. Scheming ass, trifling shit.
Yeah. So that's why I like this. A lot of levels to this movie. Love it. I love Lon Chaney Jr., all that stuff. So it works for me. I love Son of Dracula.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I'm never like... And here's a weird part. You know how, like, normally, like, the old people of the movie who are just figuring, like, the detectives and things like that, those are, like, some of the most mind-numbing, dumb, dull parts and stuff.
Right.
I really like Professor Laszlo and something Brewster, whatever his name is, Brewster.
Oh, yeah. They were great in it. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like a detective movie alongside kind of a horror movie and a kind of romance movie and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you consider this a slow burn?
No, I mean, well, no, I don't think so. I mean, I guess it could be, but I was pretty much into it the entire time. I never felt like it was slow or that nothing was happening. I think everything was pretty much moving the plot along pretty solidly.
Yeah, isn't that weird? There's really no slow parts.
No.
No,
really.
I was definitely not bored at any point.
No.
And there was a lot of intrigue, so it kind of kept you going because maybe this is happening. No, that's not happening. This is, you know. And so I was.
It has a plot. Yeah.
And I like some of the lines that they give Lon Chaney. He's like,
"May I inquire what you are doing here?"
I was about to ask you the same question.
Tonight, Miss Caldwell and I were married. I am now master of this house. You see, you owe me an explanation.
Well, I came here to see Catherine. The door was open. She didn't answer my call, and I thought I heard somebody here in the cellar.
I, too, thought that I heard someone in the cellar. Come.
Something in the basement. Oh, well, I heard something in the basement. And I'm like, yeah, you heard each other.
I thought I heard something in the basement. I, too, thought I heard something in the basement.
That's so creepy, though, when he says it, yeah.
And then I love when he goes, we can't hang out with anybody anymore because I'm heavily into scientific research. It's going to take up all our daylight hours. As soon as Alucard and Kay get married, Frank Stanley shows up at the house. He tails him over there. He says, you get lost, you're going to have the marriage annulled, otherwise blah blah. You're going to get out of here right now. So Alucard's like, I do not believe I understand. And he goes, then I'll make it easy for you. You're getting on a train tomorrow.
Oh, that's my favorite. You got to do it right. Because he's like, you're going to follow me back into town and you're getting on the first train in the morning. I do not understand. Okay, I'll make it more clear. You're going to follow me into town and you're getting on the first train in the morning. I mean, he basically says exactly what he said the first time. I'm like, oh, well, that makes more sense.
Oh, okay, you told him.
He actually did clarify. So Alucard grabs him by the throat and just tosses him through two doors. This guy, and I love how he shoots Alucard. He holds the gun at waist level and just rattles him off.
That's classic. That is, right? If you look at any film from back then, particularly like crime dramas or mob movies. That is so classic. The way they hold it like, I don't even know, like right up against their waist, and it's like pew 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 pew, and then you compare that to like say a gangster movie from the 90s where they're doing like the sideways cock thing, which you couldn't hit shit if you shot like that. Whatever.
Right.
That's how the ghoul under the bed does it.
The ghoul.
So he shoots Alucard at waist level, and it goes right through Alucard and into Kay's body, and kills her. Now,
why does she hide right behind him?
Well, she probably didn't expect that. I don't think she expected it to go right through him.
I'm gonna hide right behind, jump on the other side of the couch, bitch.
I don't understand, though, if she died from something other than vampire-related stuff, how could she become a vampire?
Well, see, I was thinking the same thing, and I want to say they brought it up later in the movie. Someone said, but she was shot.
Oh, they did cover that.
And they had an explanation for it, but I still wasn't buying it.
Yeah, he said something like, well, when somebody wants to be turned.
Yeah, that's so silly.
I don't buy that. They should have just had him bite her.
Well, he did, but I think it takes a while. Because remember how when she bit Frank Stanley, she said, I already begun the process. But while she's like, but you could still walk around during the day. Alucard can't. So it takes a couple days, I don't know, to settle in.
It probably takes a couple days if you're alive, but then if you're dead, it speeds up the process, and then you're a fucking full-fledged vampire.
Yeah.
See, that sort of negates the whole didn't bleed him dry.
Right.
He didn't die from being bled dry.
Right.
So, I don't know. To me, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't think they thought that through completely. And maybe they figured no one would notice. But it kind of bothered me.
Yeah, well, we're geniuses.
We got ya.
No, that is one of my favorite exchanges in the movie. When he goes to visit, is it the doctor or is it the professor?
It's Harry Brewster.
Okay, yeah. When Brewster goes to visit Kay to check on her because Frank's like, I shot her, she's dead. Yeah. And he's like, let me go check it out. So he goes to the house, and Alucard leads him into the bedroom where she's sitting up in bed. I mean, last time we saw her shot dead. And, we actually saw Alucard take her to the coffin and all that. But then there she is sitting up in bed looking all just, pretty in bed. And she's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got married. But see, I love how she, you know what, go ahead and tell our friends just to leave us alone. Tell my sister to just fuck off. We're not going to be seeing anybody. We're not going to be talking to anybody. We're really, really busy. Who's going to believe that?
Yeah. Catherine's going to be assisting me in my research.
But see, here's what I don't understand. Why does that guy do it? Why does he try and fucking tell those other people, yeah, they're busy, and you know what I mean? Like, I never got that part.
I guess because he just takes her at face value. He has no reason to believe otherwise. He doesn't, at this point, he doesn't think there's anything necessarily. When he sees her alive, he's like, oh, well, you know, Frank's crazy.
It just seemed odd, though, yeah.
But then he wants to swear out a warrant for her insanity. Immediately.
That was to, what was his motivation there? To keep her from taking the estate? Or
I don't know.
Problem with that. Her sister.
He just knew that Alucard would bring bad things, I think. Well, here, we can't.
They didn't like the fact. They already didn't like the fact that she was all wrapped up in the morbid business of the occult.
Right. Yeah. We're not too happy.
Yeah, she's with Frank Stanley. Alucard shows up and she marries the guy in 2 seconds. Like that would be like a whole entire. Like, if a girl's with you for 4 years, and then she just marries this guy who just showed up out of nowhere last week, and she's marrying him tomorrow. In reality, Dan, try to answer this for real. I know it's hard to... try to make like it just happened to you, because it kind of happened to Frank this way. Honestly, if you were with a chick, and, you know, you loved her completely, you were going to marry her, and she pulled this shit on you, and said, I've already begun the process when you were sleeping, I already bit your neck. You're going to be a vampire, dude. And you're going to live forever with me. Would you be cool with that? Like, would you say, well, I guess it's different than how I expected to live the rest of my life?
Well, I'd be like, well, what are the stipulations here? Because, I mean, sometimes being a vampire is portrayed as a bitch. In other movies, it's like, yes, I got superpowers. Fucking, I can fly. I can turn into a bat. Yeah. I'd be pretty psyched. I'll be honest with you.
She was kind of a hot chick, too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, really.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And she's going to look that good forever, so.
Yeah. Exactly. You know? And that's the thing. I mean, you're immortal. You can live forever. Fuck it. You know, if you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know, there were a lot of vampires that just lived normal lives. They were just people. And they were, you know, there you go. Perfect. Like, they, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you're evil. I mean, they still had to feed, but they had a way of doing that too. So I think if you can get over the initial, because see, that's the thing, it's portrayed differently in each incarnation, but for the most part, you know, the only downside is you start fucking going crazy if you don't have blood, right?
Well, like I said, I think blood is money, man. Like, what's the difference? I'd rather bite some dirtbag's neck every night and kill rapists and you know, people like that, and murderers. I just kill those people every night.
You can be like a Dexter vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't go out in the sunlight. That's perfect. Mm-hmm. Fuck. Shit.
I'm always happier at night anyway. I've never been a morning person.
Yeah, I really don't think, and there's less people around.
Exactly.
The only thing is that there's not too many stuff open that time, but.
Although the difference is, even though I prefer to be up at night, daylight doesn't kill me. So it can be pretty inconvenient.
Yeah.
She goes into the jail cell, visits Frank, tells him, dude, you're already getting set up for this, you're good. So whatever, just deal with it and kill Alucard. Or destroy him, actually. Because they made a point of saying, did he say kill or destroy? You know, come to think of it. Oh, and how annoying was that guy? When they kept asking him, well, what else did she say? What else did she say? He was like, oh, that was just crazy. Well, what was it? Well, she said this. And what else did she say? Oh, then it got really nuts. Well, what was it? Well, and she said this. And did she say anything about where he is? Oh, that's the craziest part of all of it. Well, where was he? Oh, then she said he would be in a drainage swamp. Like, does he have every single time he says, oh, that was crazy. Oh, this was even crazier, what she said here. And meanwhile, in today's world, none of it was really that crazy.
Oh, it's some kind of a crazy trick Stanley pulls. He pretends to be talking to some girl, first in his voice and then in hers.
What is this, some trick you put him up to so he'd sound crazy?
Did you listen in as we asked you to?
Yeah, but it was too crazy to bother about.
For instance?
Well, the girl's voice said something about getting him out of jail.
That wasn't so crazy, was it? He's out.
That's right.
What else?
Oh, some crazy stuff about killing Count Alucard.
Did he say kill him or destroy him?
Well, come to think of it, I believe he did say destroy. Shove a stake through him or something.
Shove a stake through him?
Yeah.
Did he say anything that would give us an idea where he expected to find Count Alucard?
Yeah, but that really was crazy. She said something about a swamp with a drainage tunnel.
I know what that is, too.
She just said, like just pretty normal stuff.
I
don't know.
Alex, you're crazy for saying that.
What do you mean he'll be in a swamp?
What do you mean they're doing a radio show? You're crazy.
So, here's a weird thing, though. Frank flips out when Evelyn Ankers says that they're going to cremate Kay because he knows that she's a vampire and this will truly kill her. So he doesn't want it to happen. However, as we know at the end of the movie, he does just that. So why would he care if he was going to do it or if they were going to do it? What's the difference? Like,
I think at that point he was still under her spell, basically. I mean, he was still in love with her. At that point, he wanted it.
But why wasn't he in love with her a half hour later when he escaped and burned Alucard's coffin?
I think because it finally hit him what was actually going on. It just finally hit him that...
Then he got a little taste of it for real.
Yeah, there you go. And then he's like, fuck this.
Yeah, I don't want her, like, she has to live like this. Fuck that. So, what do you guys think? A lot of people feel Lon Chaney Jr., and this isn't his fault, man. This is direction. They feel he was out of character or whatever when he was screaming, put it out, will ya, put it out, when his coffin was on fire. What do you guys think of that whole scene? I love that scene. I mean, I love it, man. I don't care.
I liked it.
The only thing was missing was his crazy hair. You know how he gets all his hair gets all crazy when he gets excited. Lon Chaney Jr. I mean,
yeah.
But I really liked the fact that he was emotional about it. You know, that's the one thing that really, because normally before that he was just cool and calm through the whole thing. I mean, he was pretty badass, and then all of a sudden he just kind of loses it. I don't think it was a bad thing at all.
People are assholes. I hate reading.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I do like that scene, Alex, but I'm glad you said a lot of people didn't like that, because it kind of gives me license to kind of say that it wasn't my favorite of his performances. Like, it wasn't that it was out of place, but I don't know. I just, I don't know. I thought he did an okay job, but it didn't blow my mind by any means, his performance. I thought it was good. It was good, but it wasn't like, oh, that was fucking memorable. It was just kind of like, this mustache, I don't know.
A lot of people say he phoned it in this one.
I can't call that. I don't know. I don't see enough of his shit.
I don't feel that necessarily. I think that his that was a lot to do with the character.
Right.
His character was very subdued. His character was very calm. I mean, this guy's been around for a long time.
Yeah, shit don't faze him no more.
Right. He's got no reason to get his panties in a wad every time you turn around like regular humans do. So he's just sort of cool. He sails through everything. And I think that was pure character, and I wouldn't blame Chaney for that at all.
Good. Yeah, I feel that way.
Word, son.
Like, literally, man, this guy's supposed to be the villain of the movie. Let's break it down, man. What did Alucard do wrong? I mean, he hooked up with a chick who showed interest. She showed that she dug him. She wanted to get married. He did it. She wanted to become a vampire. He hooked her up. He didn't kill anybody in this movie.
Hmm.
You know, the only thing he did do, he bit that kid. After he showed up to Harry Brewster and Dr. Laszlo's room. Remember that?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, yeah!
And that's weird. How about that? Like, they attack a kid.
That was weird, yeah. Huh.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was
and
cool, yeah.
I love how, though, she brings him in and she's like, oh my god, they put him on the table and he's like, he'll be fine, go have some tea.
Really, dude? So is this kid gonna live or what? And they just paint crosses on the bites. Like, what the fuck is that in the medical journals that you're supposed to do that?
I know, right?
Like
vampire bites in the medical journal?
Yeah.
Oh, I also did a what the fuck moment for me was when she tells him that she bit him in his sleep. Like, you didn't notice that? I think that might wake me up.
Yeah, like, oh, I got you right on the neck last night. You did what, a bitch?
Jimmy, that was so cute. It's like you finally are one of the crew now.
What?
You've never said anything like that, like terminology that we use.
Oh, what the fuck? Or what the fuck moment?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Never.
I didn't realize.
Hey.
Wow.
Aw.
I feel like, is that your barrier that you crossed over? Because, you know, we did throw Mike off this month, a year ago. So is that how you feel that it's been a year and now you could...
Maybe that was it.
Maybe that's it. That was a very big moment just now.
That was. I felt it.
I did too.
I felt it in my pants.
That was me.
I feel bad for Alucard, man. I think that's fucked up what Kay did.
I do too, man. See, villain. She was a villain.
Yeah.
She was a fatale, and she was a user. And she just wanted to get her green card.
Yeah.
I do feel for him. Because seriously,
Who, the Harbid guy?
This guy.
Oh, you feel for Alucard. Okay.
Alucard. He's going to live for eternity, and he chooses her to be by his side. And it's totally fake.
Right.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. She's a jerk off. And you know what? For some reason, man, when I watch this again, I don't hate Kay. You know? Like, I think it's cool what she's doing. I don't know. I'm messed up.
I don't hate her. I understand her motivation behind it, but I do think that, and I guess you can look at it like, well, he does drain people's blood to survive. So is he evil? Only he doesn't really seem to do anything evil.
No.
You know?
It's strange.
So wait a minute. They're gonna make a good guy be the villain and make the perceived bad guy a nice guy? See, this is what I'm saying, though. This is what they've been doing since day one, and they continue to do. And people are still shocked that they do it today. Like I said before, like, they're going to make the villain lovable. And it's like, well, shit, they've been doing this for years. And this is another example. Same with Frankenstein, like we said before. And that now with this, it's like, we love Dracula and Wolfman and all those motherfuckers. Because they're villains, but they're not.
Victims.
They're victims, exactly.
Right. They are typically reluctant in what they are. You know, like they didn't choose who they are. So, and they're doing what they have to do to survive. I mean, is that really wrong?
No.
You know, should I deny you what you have to do to survive? Am I going to call the lions on the safari wrong for taking down an antelope?
No.
On the safari, on the
Sahara, you mean?
Am I going to call them wrong for taking down an antelope? No, that's what they have to do to survive.
What if they take down an alpaca, though?
Well, then that's totally different.
That's bad, yeah.
No, if they, I would love to see that because there are no alpacas over there.
Alpaca.
But, you know, it's nature, you know, and they are a creature, even though they're, you know, supernatural and they're, I guess they're inherently evil because it was created as an enemy of God or whatever. But it's just they're doing what they have to do.
Supernatural nonetheless. You know, that means they're they're above us on the fucking food chain. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, am I going to blame a great white shark for biting off someone's leg when they're surfing? Fuck no, because the surfer is in the ocean, and that's where the great white belongs.
Yeah, until he bites your leg.
Even then, I'd probably be like, oh, man, but it's okay.
Yeah, right.
You know me. You know me. You know this.
Can you just imagine Jamie coming in with no leg, and she just goes, oh, man.
Well, she has no arm now. I wouldn't be so, like, thrown off.
That's right, Alex chopped off my arm.
Well, you were holding a cane. Trying to get rid of that. Because why else would your arm be up? What should I have put there? Like a bottle of wine or something?
Bong.
A bong?
I don't know who's sitting on that side of me. It's Dan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Dan, could you reach that far?
She's handing you something.
Let me help you with that, Jamie.
I love the end shot, you know, like the fire in the room and the drapes are on fire and they just fall and you see everybody standing there. That's awesome directing. I love when they do little touches like that. And it's kind of a sad movie, man. Betrayal, lost love, insanity, things like that. I'm thrilled Lon Chaney Jr. is the. Oh, how about that? We always talk about the titles. The Son of Dracula. Let's see, is this real? Well, Bela Lugosi is in his 60s at this point. Lon Chaney Jr. was about 40, so I guess he could be his son.
I don't know. Yeah, they don't imply at all.
They never say it's his son,
or anything like that. Yeah, so I don't know.
Sold on that. I guess it was just maybe a clever title for a sequel, and because he was a different actor playing him, it would be maybe they figured it would be difficult for people to swallow that it was supposed to be the same guy.
Well, here's the thing: in the next movie, it's a completely different actor playing him, and it's just Dracula. So that's weird. I don't know. I don't understand.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it. It's Son of Dracula. What do you guys? How do you rate this movie from 1 to 5?
I give this one a 4. I really like this one for one. I just love Lon Chaney Jr. Period. Evelyn Ankers is in it. It's always good to see her. I wish we'd seen more of her. But mainly, I really like the intricacies of the plot. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that we have a nice mystery going here, and there's also some romance, and there's some sadness. It sort of pulls at the heartstrings, and I can dig that.
And it's well made.
It is very well made, and the effects. Come on, the effects are really good,
top notch. And I just want to point out, Lon Chaney Jr. and Evelyn Ankers. This is their third movie together. They had The Wolfman, The Ghost of Frankenstein, and this. So
nice.
They have a little thing going. So, Dan, 1 to 5.
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It was just under really liked it, but I liked it. And, yeah, man, this is a solid one. For show. I enjoyed myself. I liked how it wasn't over the top horror. Like you said, it was a little bit of everything, and, it was a nice little movie.
Yeah, you can just tell thought was put into it. The writing.
Yes.
I'm thinking of. So, so I think it's a good movie. I give this a 4 out of 5 also. 4.5 maybe some days.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's solid. I always have a good time with this movie. Lon Chaney Jr.,